Long Island Sounds, the podcast, is brought to you in part by the Bolton Center for the Arts. For info on upcoming shows and ticket information, visit www.boltoncenter.org or call 631-969-1101. Hey everybody, welcome to Long Island Sounds, the podcast. This fine gentleman is Ben from he's the manager for the Bolton Center. What are we going to talk about today, Ben?
Today, we are going to start off and talk about, the purpose of why we even just started this podcast in the first place.
That's a good place.
We never really touched on that.
No, and we're three episodes in.
Yeah.
And as a lot of you know, with the Long Island Sounds Facebook page, I mentioned the reason why I wanted to do this was to get people involved, get people out to see the bands that not only do I like, respect, and admire, but to get asses in the seat. So, and I'm sure, Ben needs to get asses in his seats too. So, some of the shows, what are some of the artists that really surprise you that you would anticipate a sold out show, or you wouldn't have to worry about filling the seats? And is that a common issue?
We're finding that more to be a common issue with independent artists. That really, just with the trend these days, tribute bands sell so well that it's very hard for these local artists to compete with. And that's not for a lack of talent to say. That's just because of the demand or what people like to hear. They may prefer just to hear music that they're comfortable with and that they know already, compared to originals, which may be just as good, but they don't know the words too. So maybe they don't enjoy it as much. So that's my only thought on that.
Yeah, we had Tim Reynolds this past weekend, and most of you know who Tim Reynolds is, knows he's the guitarist for DMB. And I'm not too familiar with Dave Matthews, but I did do a little research with Tim Reynolds, and I was listening to some of his solo stuff. So, having said that, I don't know if he did instrumental acoustic versions of DMB, but his guitar work, just incredible.
Yeah, no, the whole band, especially him, the musicianship was top notch. They were as nice as can be, from the band to the guy running the merchandise, the gentleman running the merchandise table up front, to their wives. Everybody was just such a joy to work with, and like I said, his talent was just otherworldly, just watching his fingers fly on that.
And then he had his whole pedal.
All the pedals for his guitars, 4 guitars, and he was literally tuning each one by ear in between pretty much every song. But it was like art just to watch.
His acoustic stuff, I'm not sure, again, if it was instrumental Dave Matthews or if it was his own solo acoustic stuff. But once he broke out his electric guitars, it was just so heavy. And for the 3 of them, the bass runs, the drums, the trio is just top-notch musicians. They were incredible.
The Bolton Center was the last stop on their TR3 tour.
Yeah.
So that's something, as I like to say, a nice feather in the cap. Fantastic performance. And for them, it was a great way to end their run.
Yeah, and he played over 2 hours.
Yeah, didn't sit down once.
No.
Didn't want a stool. None of them did. They just sat there and just played for 2 hours and just...
And he played Bridge of Thighs, Robin Trower's Bridge of Thighs, instrumental. And it was... That just blew me away. I was getting ready to leave. I was packing my stuff up, and they left it at the stage, and I was getting ready to text Ben to say, I'll head out, and I'll see you when I see you. And he came out for his encore, and they started playing Bridge of Sighs from Robin Trower. I had to stay for the whole thing. It was incredible. So,
yeah, he covered a couple of songs that were just mind-blowing.
Like
that Jimmy Page song I mentioned, he did in his encore. Oh my goodness! And just on his, he had a Gibson on the stage. It was oh my goodness, just yeah.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, no.
Who else? What other top notch we have coming up?
We got the Yardbirds coming up this weekend. We also have the Lamar Peters will be performing the Ultimate Elvis tribute. Then next weekend we're gonna have J.D. Leonard back performing all his J.D. Leonard and all his originals. He's got 12-piece band. They're fantastic. You know, they all.
And he's going to be here for the next segment. We're going to sit down with him and get a couple of words from him. And he's doing his solo things. Usually when he does his Garth Brooks or his Decade of Country, he has 10 band members. But I thought when he did his solo stuff, it was just him and 3 or 4 members. I'm not sure if he's going to have the full. Well, we'll find out from him shortly when we talk to him. I mentioned before a couple of the first tribute acts that I've seen here on Long Island was Mystic Rhythms. They're no longer performing anymore. They did a Rush tribute, and they were a 3-piece, and they were incredible for a 3-piece. Usually, if somebody's going to pay tribute to Rush, you're going to have a synthesizer, you're going to have a bass, you're going to have a singer just to play Geddy's parts. And then you're going to have a rhythm guitarist and a lead guitarist, and you might have more than just 5 members just to do a Rush tribute. But they had a 3-piece and they were phenomenal, and I wanted to get back into the music scene because that's what I had done in Niagara Falls. I was in the music scene. So I started following Bad Animals and Completely Unchained, and there was a couple of venues that I had gone to where I thought that it's not going to be fun because there's just going to be too many people there.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to move around, and when it's too crowded and I can't move around getting different angles, it's not fun for me. But there was a couple of venues that I had gone to, and I'm just looking around and saying, where are the people?
Yeah.
So I wanted to get involved with the bands, and that's how I started getting into my concert photography. And I would reach out to the bands and say, hey, can I come shoot your show? And it just kind of progressed, and it kind of like grew, and next thing you know, I'm getting invited to come out to all these performances by all these tribute bands, and that just kind of escalated. It kind of like piled on to all the other bands that I wanted to shoot, all the classic artists that like Black Sabbath or Led Zeppelin for that matter. All these tribute bands here on Long Island. And we've got Adele coming up.
Yes, absolute Adele. That's a
Sella.
fantastic group. Jennifer Sella, yes.
She's amazing.
And she's got a fantastic group surrounding her as far as bass, backup vocals, the whole shebang. Her vocals. She's a fantastic singer, and she plays the part to the T.
What's the Donna Summer one? She's going to be here.
And Rainier Martin, she'll be coming back here in June. Yep, no, the Ultimate Donna Summer tribute. She's another one. She's fantastic. She sold out the first time that she was here at the Bolton Center. Mm-hmm. We're anticipating much the same for this one in June. Fantastic performer. Some of this also leads into, we're going into the springtime, and then as we get closer to the summer, that's when it starts to get a little dicey, because a lot of the municipalities or town parks around here will hire some of these similar acts. So it's kind of just hard to keep up with. But we're fortunate enough for now that we're running through May and June, and we have a lot of good stuff to look forward to on our calendar. But yeah, just Rainier Martin herself, she's a fantastic performer, very professional, and she's got at least, I would say, 8 pieces on stage, and they bring the heat, my goodness, every single time. People are standing and dancing by the end of the show.
Are there, what's it called, the vicinity regulations, where if you've got the Eisenhower part and they're having one of their artists, can you have them like the next day, or is it what's
like a radius clauses? We don't.
Yeah, radius clauses.
We run into those mostly with other theaters, where we'll see and sometimes it depends on the contract too, where I'll say, no performances for X amount of time within 15 miles, let's say, as an example. But then again, we've also had bands that have performed at other theaters that we've had to wait till they've literally their performance. Then the next day we could put their tickets on sale.
Oh, okay.
So it all
Okay.
depends, contracts, what group they're, what agency they're with, what they prefer, and just what kind of rules we have to play by.
Right, right. We got JD Leonard on standby, and we have, when you get a chance, go to the website, boltoncenter.org.
.org.
And what is it, 6319?
691101 is our box office number. You can call us, come on down. Box office is open Wednesday through Saturday from 9 to 5, and then show nights later. We could definitely use some more asses in the seats. So there, I said it.
I got it. So stand by for JD Leonard. Stick around. The Bolton Center for the Performing Arts proudly present J.D. Leonard on Friday, April 11th. For ticket information and other upcoming shows, visit www.boltoncenter.org or call 631-969-1101.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We have a very special guest with us today. He is performing at the Bolton Center coming up on April 11th, Mr. J.D. Leonard. Thank you so much for joining us today, J.D.
Thank you, buddy.
Again, a pleasure having you as always. So please give us a little rundown on what people can expect that night.
A good time.
It's always a good time.
Yeah, it's always a good time.
No, it's an original show. I was about to say all original, but mostly original. We'll throw in some covers, sprinkle in a little, but it's we've got some new stuff we're going to be playing, stuff that we're going to be recording really soon, and as well as some of the old stuff that a lot of people are used to. And yeah, we're pumped about it. It's really cool. We've been excited about this one since the last time that we were here.
Okay.
Actually. So
that was
the
a
last
fun
time,
show.
it was. It
That
was
was a
really
fun
great.
show.
The people here were awesome.
Yeah.
So
Great feedback from the audience.
yeah, it was fun.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna do it again.
How long have you been with that band for? Or since you formed that band?
How big is the band?
Yeah, so right, so that, a lot of that
Big
depends
band.
on the venue, really. I'm one of those suckers for I like having as many pieces as I can.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's
You said
not
that,
only,
yep.
yeah. It's not only not always conducive to that, but anyway. So I think that night it's gonna be 7 pieces.
Okay. That's
We'll
not too
have
bad.
we'll have the pedal steel and
Yeah.
and the guitars and the pianos rocking and everything. So.
The three of you guys are incredible. You, Steve, and I always forget the pedal steel.
Mike.
Mike.
Steve
yes.
actually is not on that.
Oh, he's not?
No,
Okay.
no. It's gonna be my buddy Joe is gonna be playing.
Okay.
And but Steve is great.
On that talk
Yeah.
box?
Yeah, he's
Oh.
great. Yeah, I'm in too many bands. You're confusing them. That's a different band.
You're right. I was going to ask you about that because you got the Garth Brooks tribute,
Yep.
which is
That's
the
nice,
first
yeah.
time I saw you. Which is incredible.
Yep. Thank
And
you.
then with Diane doing backup,
Mhm.
and she's actually the one that introduced us.
Yeah, that's right.
And then you do the Decades of Country
Yep.
with a full band with 10 or 12.
No, it's not that many. It's about 7 or 8. It's still a
Okay.
lot, but
It is a lot. Then you just started doing a Steve Miller tribute.
Yeah.
How's that?
it was great. I fell into it. It wasn't. It was out of the blue, really. I got a phone call from the guys that do the New York to Boston band.
Okay.
Tony Garofalo.
Yeah, and so they hit me up. They were going to do sort of like this offshoot of that, and it was going to be Steve Miller, and asked me if I would.
I remember seeing
Play
on
that
social
role?
media, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you filled in for a couple songs, right?
No. We did a whole show.
Oh.
So what we did was it was a double bill. It was us and us meaning the Steve Miller thing.
Right.
And then basically the lead singers changed, and that's it. And it was
Okay.
the
Oh, no
the New
kidding.
York to Boston thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was really fun. It was cool. So we did the whole thing at very little rehearsal or preparation. We just don't have the time for it. But it came together great.
Yeah, he's super professional to work with.
Yeah, it was
We had
awesome.
Fields here. Yeah, they were great to work with.
Yeah.
And
He's
Yeah.
a great guy too.
Yeah.
That's even more
Absolutely.
important.
Yeah.
You get to a certain point where, like, obviously you want to be around talented people, but I mean, being a solid people, that's more important to me.
Yeah.
So,
that, that weighs into it a lot too. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you're a jerk, then you really have to be talented for people to come see you. Otherwise, they're just going to be a little salty.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. I try to just surround myself with good people, and and I'm fortunate enough that most of them happen to be talented too, so it's a win-win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. No, yeah, like last show was a really fun time. I have no doubt that April 11th is going to be much the same.
So you, born in Tennessee,
Hmm.
moved to North Carolina. How did you end up in Long Island?
Oh boy. All right. Long story short. So my grandparents were here,
Okay.
and the next door neighbor was this hotshot trombone player. Plays with all these big people, and I've been coming up here since I was like 6 years old.
Oh, okay.
And so, one afternoon I was playing in the backyard, and he kind of, I always say he kind of stuck his head over the fence like Wilson from
Oh, Tim Allen, and yeah.
And is that your song? Yeah. So anyway, so I went and did a bunch of demos, and a couple years go by, and he has me come up and do some full band demos, but it was just me and him in the studio, and I left, and he called some of his friends over to play, on it, drums, bass,
Yeah.
whatever. It just so happens that Mike Sorrentino was the drummer that he called. Carmine was on keyboards, and this other guy, Jack Knight, was on bass. I don't play with Jack. He's wonderful, but the irony is that however many years later now, Sorrentino and Carmine, I still play with them to this day.
Oh,
As a matter of fact, Mike Sorrentino will be here on the 11th. So,
Oh, sweet.
So yeah, so it went from this.
Wow.
It's this really cool,
Lifelong
interesting
friends.
full circle thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems to be the common thing in like the music scene. Everybody knows everybody. Like if you need a favor, there's no shortage of people you can reach out to fill in for a gig if you need help or something like that.
Sure.
It's just a huge community.
Well, it's how long you've been in it, and
For sure, yeah.
And it goes back to what you were saying before. Like nobody wants to work with a jerk. So
Exactly.
if you've been around long enough to know enough people,
Yeah.
and you have a good reputation, and you're a nice enough person, then yeah,
It's an easy hire, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mentioned with Diane, she introduced us, and she plays with 3 or 4 different bands as well. Plus
Sure.
she does her solo stuff. And then Lenny, your bass player, or plays with you, he worked with Jill Joya this past weekend.
Did he?
So out in Bay Street Theater, out in Sag Harbor. So he's playing with everybody too.
But
He's a nice guy.
But I was going to say that's a great example of what we're talking about. Well, first of all, he's good enough that he can play with anybody.
Yeah.
And he kind of does. But he's also he's just a solid human being. I have nothing bad to say about that guy. Nothing. I really don't. And, I love that guy like an extended family.
Sure,
He's just awesome. And he just so happens to be one of the best bass players in New York.
Yeah.
So
he's a
he can
beast.
Works out.
play with anybody.
Yeah.
I love
I was happy to see everybody that walks into the room, and everybody knows Lenny. Lenny's like always welcoming to anybody that wants to shake his hand.
That's
He's
right.
a really nice guy.
He'll be here on the 11th too.
Excellent.
So.
I was looking forward.
See what I mean? Like that we're stacking the deck here, man, with just really solid people. So the 11th is going to be great.
It's going to be a really, really nice build up to that. When did the light bulb go off that I want to do music? I want to perform. That's how I want to make my living.
Yeah. Wow. So that's
So when Wilson poked his head over.
yeah. Right. Well, so I started singing in church when I was 2, and half my family all played in church, and so it was always around me. Ironically, my parents weren't really, very musical, but my grandparents and my aunt and my uncle and all these other people were.
Yeah.
And so it was always around me. I remember being told, at least. I was too young to remember myself, but sitting on my Uncle Carl's knee in church while he was playing guitar, because I was just drawn to it.
Right.
And and so I was hooked early. I started playing. I started doing gigs at like 14, and then I kind of stopped for a while. I was nervous and puberty and all those things. You're just self-conscious.
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
Girls, guitars.
Yeah. Yeah. Which one am I more afraid of? And so anyway, so I guess I'm late teens when it was time to kind of get back into it, and I don't know. I just kept going and going and going, and I was in college, and I got opportunities to go out on the road, and
Okay.
I took them, and I kind of haven't looked back.
It's,
So.
it came natural to you.
Yeah, it really did.
I didn't know the difference between a good guitar and a cheap guitar, and it makes all the difference in the world. But it wasn't until, it got to be late 20s and 30s when I could actually afford a decent guitar. But it was always too much like work for me.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. And even with singing, I was never confident with my voice. When, I'm third grade, and the chorus teacher pulls us up in front of the class and wants to audition us for plays and stuff, and I just froze. I couldn't even sing, the Star Spangled Banner. It was just kind of like, I froze. I couldn't do it. So
Yeah.
now I shoot all you guys.
Yeah, and you
So
do a great job at it
it's
too,
one of
by the
those
way.
things that, oh, thank you.
I think it's because of your passion for music in general, though.
Yes, absolutely.
And what's funny is you're talking about like how hard it work. That's the thing is that you have to, and I'm sure you found that with photography, is that you have to be in love with the work,
Yes.
not so much the end product, but the work. If you're not in love with the work, 'cause it's hard.
Yes.
It's hard to get good at anything.
Yeah, you have
And
to
so-
appreciate the journey getting there.
You have to. If you're not in love with the work, you're not gonna, kind of progress. And I'm sure with the photography side of things that you're in love with it, so you don't mind the work.
No, I don't. And
You
that's
look
the
forward
thing
to the work,
with,
right?
Yeah, I do. And even when you see the end product, you see the editing that I do with the photos, and just Photoshop. I love manipulating Photoshop, and that's what with that commercial that I made today. With
Yeah.
the motion blur and stuff like that. That's fun for me.
Right.
And I think anybody else that may sit down, not anybody else, but I'm sure there are a few people that would sit down, how the hell did you do that?
Sure.
I mean, I don't understand how you did that.
Or just find it it's just not fun,
Yeah.
right? And,
Yeah.
and so it's the folks that don't find it fun that
Right.
they're just not gonna, it's same thing with you, building shows and
Yeah.
making things a success. And if you didn't love it as much as you do,
Right?
you wouldn't be doing it because it gets hard.
Yeah, no, for sure. We love seeing smiles on faces when people are leaving at the end of the night saying, what a great show. I can't wait to come back and see him perform again.
Yeah.
So yeah, to much the same, where it just doesn't feel like work to a point when you get so involved with something that you really enjoy doing.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah, there's plenty of stuff that I wish that I was good at, but I don't love the work enough to put into it. You know what I mean? So I bailed,
Amen.
just like you did with the drums.
Yeah, and guitar. So,
And then you found something that you didn't hate.
yeah.
And my first guitar was a nylon. It was a junior classical. Not that I played classical, but that just happened to be the first one that I got. And they were so soft, and and I remember getting my first acoustic, and same thing. Then the action was all high, whatever, and it was holy crap! It's almost like going, I don't know, from a massage chair to some metal park bench or something. I don't know,
really.
whatever analogy you want to use.
Yeah, I totally get that. My first guitar actually was a nylon guitar. It was the Kiss Ace Frehley guitar, the plastic, and it had nylon strings, and it had tuning pegs that just stuck in. You couldn't. Terrible.
Yeah.
It was like $10.
Yeah.
But I only got it because of Ace Frehley.
Yeah,
So-
well, yeah, you got your money's worth.
Yeah, there you-
Folks, if you do not have your tickets for JD's show on April 11th, I highly suggest that you do, because the talent that's on that stage, I can't describe it in this podcast, but it's amazing. So make sure you get your tickets, boltoncenter.org. You can give us a call at the box office, 631-969-1101, and I will pass over to JD to send a message to our crowd.
Yeah, basically what he said. Absolutely would love to see you there. One of the biggest joys that I get is to be able to present, my music and certainly the new music, because it's really a way of me to present my heart and my soul, things that I can't put into words, I can put into music, and there's no greater joy for me than to be able to share that with friends, and I'd love to see you there. Love to be able to share it with you.
Until next time, everybody, take care, and thanks for watching Long Island Sounds, the podcast. The Bolton Center for the Performing Arts proudly present J.D. Leonard on Friday, April 11th. For ticket information and other upcoming shows, visit www.boltoncenter.org or call 631-969-1101.
All right, everybody. Well, that concludes another episode of Long Island Sounds, the podcast.
Isn't JD great?
Oh, it's always great to have JD on the show.
is.
He's professional, great performer. Looking forward to having him in the building next weekend. And yeah, an all-around great guy.
And he's a must-see. I mean, he's such a top musician. And a couple of months ago, with the Grammys coming up, I had Long Island Sounds had, I don't want to use awarded. I mean, I didn't hand out any awards to any of the artists or anything, but I had picked JD as the outstanding artist of the year, and just watching him perform last year with his Garth Brooks, the Decades of Country. The Fast Lane.
Yeah, Fast Lane, Eagles tribute.
Yeah.
He's in that band
And he's
as
just
well.
an incredible artist. And he's got a great sound, great vocals.
Yeah, I like to say he's a good old Southern boy.
There you go.
Because he really, he comes across that way, and he's authentic, and he really appreciates any help.
Huge heart.
And he's got a big heart, yeah, for sure. And yes, his family is lucky to have him.
Yeah, and for any scheduling to see JD over the summer, he's going to be playing almost every weekend, if not every weekend. So make sure you check out his website and to see where he's playing. Hopefully you can check if you can't make it here on the 11th. Hopefully you can catch him at one of the other spots that he's playing. So,
Yeah, he's always always gigging.
who else do we have coming up? I mean, we kind of touched on it earlier. Like I said, with the Adele, she's always great.
Yeah, we've got
And then the Yardbirds.
we've got Who's Next?
Who's next? How
With
could I forget?
Lisa
Who's Next?
Palizzi, and Doug Zahn with the tribute to the Who
Yes, yeah.
and to Janis Joplin. So that's going to be a fun night. We have had an incredible influx of requests from artists, tribute bands, local artists that want to be a part of this podcast series. So, over the next couple of weeks, couple of months, you're gonna see us on a weekly basis, pretty much with a different face.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to highlight what they have going on, where they're going to be playing next. Just trying to get them a little bit extra exposure, a little extra bump.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's what we started this podcast for.
Exactly. Yep. But yeah, we're gonna have not just artists, but we're gonna have people that produce different projects, and we want to branch out to that. We might have maybe a promoter come on.
Mhm.
I actually would like to get how he does promotions and productions
Yeah,
and
no,
stuff
I
like
mean,
that.
and other general managers and managers of other theaters as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people on Long Island, so there's a lot of people, a lot of local talent.
A lot of stellar talent.
Yeah, so we can share.
So, but keep on keeping on.
Please feel free to like, comment, share below.
Subscribe. Yeah.
Yep, subscribe. We are going to need all the organic help that we can get getting this off the ground, and we appreciate every little bit of it.
Absolutely.
And you can find our upcoming shows at the www.boltoncenter.org. We have a lot of great stuff coming up, both originals and tribute artists, between the Yardbirds, Ultimate Elvis Tribute, J.D. Leonard, Donna Summer, like you mentioned before. We're going to have Coco Montoya coming up a little bit down the road.
Comedians?
We are going to have Andy Gross coming up here. So he is a magician and comedian where he has got an obnoxious amount of followers on YouTube, like over 500,000.
No way.
Yeah, where he does things like shift like the top part of his body away from the bottom part of his body, and he freaks
that guy.
in like a park and like freaks people out. So, yes, buy your tickets now because it's that funny. Seriously. Yeah, Andy, April 19th. Are you kidding me? Yeah, so like I said, you could find him on YouTube too if you want to watch some of his videos, but absolutely hysterical, and he pulls some really, really like headless horseman kind of stuff to people on the buses, and it's really something to, that's another type of entertainment too. That's not just music. It's not music, but it's something that people are going to enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, come on down, check it out, check out the schedule, and you won't be dissatisfied.
Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week, folks. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Long Island Sounds, the podcast, is brought to you in part by the Bolton Center for the Arts. For info on upcoming shows and ticket information, visit www.boltoncenter.org or call 631-969-1101.